Good evening, NITKSurathkal. Thank you so much for inviting me here for a talk. And when I was coming here, I was thinking that what is it that I should talk to you? The theme was alchemy, so I decided, let me see where a little bit of transformation or transmutation can happen. While I was discussing with some of you in the afternoon over lunch, some of you were talking about what do you want to do in life. So what I understood is that all of you want to be one of these. You want to be a CEO, you want to be rich, you want to be an author, you want to be a cinema filmmaker, you want to be the richest person, you want to be a CEO of a company. But let me tell you something. There is no assurance that one of you or all of you will reach there. But I can say with an 80 to 100% confidence interval, with 100% assurance, that all of you are going to face in the future or sometime in your life this. And that is accidents. Some of you will get fired from your jobs, some of you will be unemployed, some of you will miss your promotions, some of you will have breakups, some of you will have divorces, some of you will have special needs children around, some of you will have unwanted pregnancies. There will be so much of uncertainty in your lives. And if that is what is going to be, then what is it that you need to tackle? And that is what I am going to talk to you about. I am going to talk to you about how to tackle tough times and transmutate. And transmutation is part of alchemy. How you transmutate lead into gold, mixing some chemicals. How you transmutate your life. What is elixir? What is panacea? That is what alchemy is about. When this thing happened to me, I was 24 years old and I lost my father, mother, two younger sisters, and my 13-year-old younger brother at that time was left to be dead. So he was comatose and he was left in a hospital. So that was a moment in my life. I was 4 years old in service. I was a captain at that time, just being promoted. At that age, you don't have any experiential learning with you available to handle. At that age, you are somewhere lost, what we say. So you have to pick up the threads of life and move on ahead without any guiding force available to you, because family and parents become our first guides. So one concept which I think is the most useful concept for this entire hall is anti-fragility. And when I say anti-fragility, it was not that I knew this concept when I was 24 years old. It is a concept which I have learned over years now. And this concept is very prevalent in nature. So you have to learn from nature, you have to learn this concept. And I will take a minute to explain this concept, and then I will teach you some tricks or some hacks how to become anti-fragile in your lives. So anti-fragility is not the opposite of fragile. When you go on a flight, you ask the check-in counter lady or gentleman to paste fragile on your suitcase. That is, that it should not break, it has got something which is breakable inside. Fragile is damaged by disorder. Anti-fragile is not something which is not damaged. There is some damage. It is not even resilience. Because resilience is you are unaffected by disorder. You become shock proof. But what anti-fragility is all about is that you benefit from disorder. As shocks come to you, as problems come to you, you solve those problems, move ahead and become stronger and stronger to handle bigger problems of life. Anti-fragility, if you develop in your life, is one thing which will make you handle any problem which you are going to face, and some of you are going to live for 100 years and beyond, because the way science and technology is moving, the way you had some startups talking about patches, the day is not very far that human life will cross 100 years. So you've got a long runway ahead of you, and in that runway, you must understand what anti-fragility can do for you. As I was telling you, if you see nature, you see this plant, Takakia, it's about 390 million years old. It's a moss. You see the horseshoe crab. A horseshoe crab is about 450 million years old, still surviving. And if you see the Indian culture, it is about 10,000 years old, but it is still surviving. No matter who came and attacked us, the Greeks came, the Persians came, the Turks came, the Mongols came, Afghans came, British came, French came, Dutch came, but our culture is still living. This is an example of anti-fragility. How you survive in the long run. You become stronger and better with the shocks and the problems which you face. Now the first element of being anti-fragile is being autodidactic. And autodidactic is not learning the school learning. Much of what you learn in school and what you learn here is not going to be very useful in life. I am an engineer myself. I have never used Fourier transform in my 58 years of life. You just solve it in the classroom and leave it. But you still have to keep studying it. Look at someone who's a filmmaker. Where is he going to use this Fourier transform? Nowhere. So, as Mark Twain has said, that actual education starts when your schooling stops. So once your schooling stops, look outside the school, learn to be self-taught. Don't look at support systems who teach you by rote. The second element is, be a planner in life. A planner is someone who, when he's traveling, he doesn't plan anything. He strolls on the street, likes a small joint, goes there, explores, eats, tastes, wandering aimlessly, traveling aimlessly, gives you a lot of ideas in life. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of inventors got their ideas by observation. Leonardo da Vinci saw the birds flying. Sir Isaac Newton, lying under a tree, saw an apple fall and observed why does it fall only downwards. Observations lead to inventions and discoveries. And observations and discoveries, an element will come into you only when you have time to observe. When you're doing something aimlessly. So do a lot of things aimlessly, wander around aimlessly, you learn something more. The third element is, life is like a polynomial equation of the nth degree. Now in this whole equation, there is no variable which is under your control except for one. And that one variable, somebody said earlier, is your hard work and your action, which is all in your control and is the only thing under your control. And as, if I were to quote from the Bhagavad Gita, the same shlok, Karmanya vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karfal hetur bhurma te sango asva karmani. The whole essence of that is, concentrate on your work. If you're making a film, just be immersed in that. Don't worry about the results. The results will come automatically if you've done your work with passion. If you're writing a book or writing a chapter, do it with passion. If you're creating some content, do it with your heart and soul in it. From 0, views, 8 views, 10 views, you'll reach 1 million views also. Because whosoever is your audience, or whosoever is reading, or whosoever is your boss, is observing that work. You may not get the results immediately or the fruits immediately, but sooner or later, life is a great balancer. You will get the just desserts, what you deserve in life. Be a stoic and a minimalist. This is one way to handle shocks and fragility. If you have very little requirements from life, you will find that in any situation you can survive. But if you have too many requirements from life, if you not face difficulties, and if you not learn from them, then your survival is at stake. Species which have survived for 3 billion years, 400 million years, or human Homo sapiens which have survived for 3 lakh years, they have survived only because they required the minimum. The requirement or materialistic requirements have come only with the industrial age. Before that, if you see your grandparents, you see a generation before them, their requirements were very little. And they were far more happier than all of us. Remember, seeking happiness is like a rat race. If I ask you, what gives you absolute happiness? You will write on a piece of paper and you will say you require very little. But our problem is not that we seek happiness. We want to be happier than others is the problem. And happier than others is a context, is a rat race. You decide you want to be a rat or you want to be away from that rat race and live your life. You'll be happier with less. You'll be peaceful with less. Surathkal is one place actually where you can be happy. You are not glamorized by big towns and big cities and what is happening there. A small beach, a little seafood shack, some books, some professors, a coffee shop, and that's good life. What else do you require? In Bombay also people do the same thing. In New York people do the same thing. Don't worry. And this is a very famous quote which I often use. Chitta chitta samaprokta bindu matram visheshata sajivam dahte chitta nirjivam dahte chitta. Meaning that there is just a difference of a dot between worry and your funeral pyre. The living, they burn with worries. The dead, they burn on the pyre. The choice is yours. Worry does not solve anything of life. It just burns you from inside. Envy and worry removed from your life. No matter what the situation is, there's always a solution for it. Some solutions come overnight, some solutions take a little more time. You will find your solutions, you will find your calling of life wherever you plan to do it and wherever you devote time to it. We have a very famous saying in the armed forces and in the army, and that saying is, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. If you prepare yourself in peacetime very well, then no matter what happens in a battlefield, you will be unfazed. The same applies to you for your real lives. The more you practice a practice paper, 10 times 100 papers, the main paper when you will appear, it will go smooth as a button. This you can apply in any sphere of life. If you're going for a hiking or a camp, you want to run a marathon, practice a little before that. And if you practice, on the final day, you will complete the marathon within the stipulated time. The last part, which I want to tell you about is that if you want to enjoy life, you have to walk through tough times. If you want to enjoy the elixir which is hidden in water, if you not walk through the deserts, you will never enjoy that water.